Fair use. The devil is on the move.
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, educational purposes. Fair use, fair use, fair use, educational purposes. Fair use, fair use, fair use, educational purposes.
In the United States without admission or parole. Don't worry, if you came on a visa, I can get you a green card if you're married to a U.S. citizen. The regular adjustment of status. Check my other videos about that. This is for people who came without admission, without parole, okay? And you have to have lived in the United States for at least 10 years as of June 17th, 2024. You can't show up last year. You can't show up 5 years ago. You've got to be in the United States for at least 10 years. That's really critical, okay? And then the third thing is the most obvious one. You got to be in a real marriage, a real bona fide marriage. You can't just have gotten married last month thinking you could do something. It's got to be a legitimate marriage, okay? Check my videos about what a bona fide marriage looks like in terms of documents and evidence, but those are the three things that are really critical that you can start putting your evidence together. You know why? All the lawyers are like, oh, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to see what happens. You can file an I-130 today, tomorrow, if you meet all those criteria, because regardless of what happens, the steps in the process, they're going to require you filing an I-130 petition, which I've done on other videos. Check those out as well. And what the evidence are, the steps are, the requirements are. The only thing is, this is going to allow you to stay in the United States and get parole in place, which I've done videos on how to do that as well for other people, such as military family members. But this is going to allow like 500,000 people to do parole in place for a period of time and then do adjustment of status. I've done videos on adjustment of status as well. Check that out.
Did you hear the big news about marriage-based green card cases? USCIS and Immigration Customs Enforcement are going to work a whole lot more closely to see if there's people that they can put into deportation. In an August 1st update to the USCIS policy manual, they say that just because you file an I-130 petition doesn't mean that ICE won't start deportation proceedings against you.
Yep, ISIS.
If your spouse is out of status at the time that you apply for a green card, they can receive a notice to appear in deportation court at the interview, before the interview, or after the interview. This is a huge change, and it's going to make things very complicated, very stressful, and very expensive, because now you'll have to file an I-130 not knowing if ICE is going to come get you at your interview. And even if all they do is give you a notice to appear, you're going to have to go to immigration court and go through those years of delays, hoping that the judge gives you a green card. This is a huge change that not enough people are talking about, so keep paying attention.
If you're married to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, it's time to get ready. USCIS is raising the bar, and they now require clear proof of a genuine marriage. No shortcuts. Joint bank accounts, shared living arrangements, photos together, everything will be carefully reviewed. And yes, your social media will be considered too. USCIS is focusing on ensuring everything is authentic. If you can't provide strong evidence, it could cause issues. Interviews are required for everyone. Be prepared to answer detailed questions about your relationship. No small detail will be overlooked. For refugees and asylum seekers, informal marriages won't be accepted anymore. You'll need a legally recognized marriage in the country where it occurred. So double check your forms, get ready for the interview, and make sure you're following all the rules. Stay on top of everything to ensure the process goes smoothly.
Micah chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, woe to them that devise iniquity. Matter of fact, Isaiah 10. Salakia. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, and it reads, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall soon come from far? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem
HaKadosh, to the head apostles, / elder bishops of Great Millstone, the one that taught us the 100% truth according to the Bible, peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere items. Keep pushing, keep believing, keep the faith. Regardless of people here for a bear, where everybody was opening presents, and it always happened like that. Why? I mean, this law right here was
while in the mirth. Yep,
they already prescribed this already. They just not bringing it out. That's all. Be the devil. We're not ignorant of his device. When you bring out a law, no sense already been on the books for like years. You see, They just need an event, you know what I'm saying, to make it come out. That's all. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, but for you Israelites out there, and it don't matter what tribe you from, walk circumspectly. Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. It doesn't matter what tribe you from. This devil coming down with great wrath, knowing that he only got a short time. He rounding our people up like it's going out of style. You saw the video. I'm not gonna play it again. Breaking CS breaking news. CIS revises marriage green card process in 2026. If you ain't got no papers, they're pretty much telling you that they're gonna just round you up. No. And them papers, you know what I'm saying, get more and more expensive too. They don't want just they say they're gonna link everything up with your social media too. I know y'all heard that too. He's coming down with a great rap, but everything's a joke, right? Everything's a joke. Look, greater evils. Let's just get this. For when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction. Let's just get this right quick, just so quick. About to head out, Lord, want to get this daily bread. Well, we better seek the Lord. For real. And the Lord be having us tell our people that each and every day. The Lord be having all the men tell us that this each and every day. Seek Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The game is over. The game's over. The games are over, man. Ezekiel 7:25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace. And there shall be, now he said a real marriage too. I know phony baloney. And I know we've been together for 7 years, so it's common law marriage. We married and no. This man says, look, he need Pacific papers. You're going from house to house, you know what I'm saying? Man. Said them interviews are mandatory, so you got to go. You be nervous as hell going to some interviews. They say these papers, it ain't good enough. That's how you know, never to be seen again. I seen on one video talks about you can do the easy thing and deport yourself. Ezekiel 7:25. Destruction coming, but once again, this is the devil. He's making unrighteous decrees, aka laws on stolen land. But look, man, Ezekiel, just a quick little warning. You Israelite, you tribes out there, keep your eyes open. He's coming. AI everywhere, taking over all these jobs. Shit, war everywhere. I mean, tabs everywhere, hyperinflation. You see, look, what was it? Domino effect. Domino effect. The Lord's making all these things happen at one time, and you have been warned. Matter of fact, was it Psalms 49? This is gonna be something quick too. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. A lot of people know saying we're singing Jingle Bell Rock and drinking eggnog and all this. These unrighteous decrees were being passed. Psalms 49 and Salakia. Is this it? Nah, war was in his heart. War was in his heart. See if we can get that. Come on now. War was in his heart. Yeah, 55. Psalms 55:21. It reads, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Look, they talk a good game. They make it sound good. But war was in their heart. And never trust thine enemy, as the scripture have said. You playing around with a serpent, you get bit. Who's going to put a charmer that has been with the serpent and bear with me? Also, what's it again? Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. But war was in his heart and his mind. His words were softer than oil. Yet were they drawing swords, weapons. That's their job, though. Once again, that's their job, to make your life a living hell. Well, the Lord been having us tell you, Israelites, with this devil coming down the pipeline, what he coming to do? Stealing land. As the scripture says, y'all, shit, that was a matter of fact. Psalms 49 and Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought, meaning their inner thoughts. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. They think they're going to be ruling for all eternity, you know what I'm saying, wickedness. You know that ain't never happened. You done had a good run. All hell break loose, and the only thing people think about is New Year's, so-called New Year's, which ain't the New Year, in the dead of winter. It's cold as shit outside. But oh yeah, Happy New Year. Let that make sense. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They called their lands after their own names. Who took over the whole earth and started calling these lands, these continents, after themselves? Sleazy Esau, Edom. That's who. And this man coming down with great wrath, knowing that he only got a short time to rule, but our people still ain't paying attention. You gonna come out that grocery store one day, you know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be right there to meet you. You gonna come out of that grocery store one day, hell, you gonna come out of church one day, and that devil gonna be right there. And I mean, even in those interviews, you heard what that dude said. He says, I.C.E. is gonna be right outside your interview. And if things don't right and the paperwork ain't right, they gonna pull you right up out of there, never to be seen again. To them fake marriages, because people have been running their mouth. People been running their mouth on the internet. That's all. Tell them what they've been doing. I married this person. I'm saying I'm getting this amount of money. Blah blah blah. So you got to show proof of that person being inside their house. Everything, pictures. Say look, social media. Shit. China launches major military drills. I mean, it's going down. Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman to the house of Israel, a people before the place. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. So we're giving you warning from the Lord of what's coming down the pipeline. And I don't want to go right back. I want to go right back to Micah. You saw the video. I ain't got to play it again. You heard what he said. He's coming down with great wrath, knowing that he only got a short time to rule. But we don't. But all nations can be saved. They rounding up our people like Sleazy Esau Edom is rounding up our people, rounding up our people like it's going out of style. One person deleted, one Andrew in New Jersey helicopter crash. See, they rounding up our people like it's going out of style. But these other certain Israelite groups are telling you that they're going to be saved, and this nonsense, man. You know. Let's get it again. Isaiah 10:1. Woe, destruction unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. What's a decree? A law. A law. And right grievousness which they have prescribed. The law that they're coming out with is grievous. So I can put a definition for the word grievous up there. It's grievous. These unrighteous laws are grievous, man. To turn aside the needy. Who's the needy? The Israelites. From judgment, we'll never get a fair shake here. Never. We'll never get a fair shake here. To turn aside the needy from judgment. And to take away the right from the poor of my people. This land belongs to the so-called Native American Indians and the Latinos. But this devil told us something. You're illegal. No, you're illegal. You're illegal. The Edomites, you're illegal.
Yep,
all right?
we used to say that too.
You're illegal. The so-called Native American Indians, the Latinos, and the so-called blacks, you know what I'm saying, the so-called African Americans, they belong here. All right? You're illegal. To turn aside the needy, but you stole the land, you know what I'm saying? And then you call it error. That's a fugitive for you, though. That's a thief for you. Remember, his job is to steal, delete, and destroy. And he's doing a good job of it. That's what he was created to do. We keep reminding our people, and we got to continue to remind ourselves. This is the only job. This is MO. Is to steal, delete, and destroy, lie, pillage. All this just destroy shit. See? To turn aside the needy, watch you. He's always watching. He ain't got nothing better to do. This devil really doesn't have nothing to do. To turn aside the needy from judgment, you'll never get a fair shake. You go to these little meetings, they're not going to give you a fair shake. Well, we need another. You got another kind of paper? No, you said it's all the paperwork that I need. I lied. You need something else. Well, what is it? I ain't going to tell you. To turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, which are the Israelites. That's why when you hear our people talk, I got the right to do this. What's that saying? I got rights. My rights. I got rights. I get the right to shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? We better be praying to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai to come help us, man. It says that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And who's that? The Israelites. Who's the fatherless? The Israelites. And they ain't coming out to nobody else but the Israelites. The biblical Hebrew Israelites, this devil ain't coming out to nobody but us. Don't y'all see it? And what will you do in the day of visitation? The Lord is talking to Sleazy now. What you gonna do when the Lord visit you? You came with your unrighteous decrees. You came with your fucking lawless shit. Your tactics. You came with your unrighteous decrees, your wicked ass laws. The Lord's like, yo, you oppress the hell out of the Lord's people. That's all that devil knows. I can't forget that. Only thing that devil knows how to do is oppress the earth. He's oppressing the earth. The earth needs rest from this devil. Some black fatigue. No, Edomite fatigue. The earth has Edomite fatigue. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee, and where will ye leave your glory? The Lord, like, there ain't gonna be nowhere for this devil to run. Ain't gonna be nowhere for him to hide. Let's just get a couple more scriptures. And never trust thy enemy either. You go to the office you want to. Go to the office you want to, and I want to get some. And look, woe to them that are ease in Zion. You see, our people all comfortable, laxy daisy. All right. Remember, keep quoting that scripture. Never trust thine enemy. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. Of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that nobody got to keep telling you what time it is. Warning after warning after warning after warning after warning after warning. Right? Nobody should have to keep reminding you of what time you in. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For those that ain't looking, for when they shall say peace and safety, that's the narrative. Just bring your papers. Just bring your paperwork in. Show us who you is. We're going to sit down, have a meeting. Everything going to be all lovey-dovey if you got the right paperwork. But if not, pop goes the weasel. You know what that means. Then sudden destruction come upon them. As travail upon the one with child, and they shall not escape. And the Lord told us not to sleep. Not to sleep as and like I said before, this is just something quick. You see what's going on, Israel. You saw that video. I ain't got to play it again. And fair use, fair use, fair use. All kind of unrighteous decrees. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. It's really going down. Revelation chapter 12. Let's get this. Be coming. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. And while you were singing Jingle Bell, and Frosty the Snowman, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, see what kind of laws this devil was passing. And he gonna do the same thing. I mean, them laws already are there. They just bring them out. They've been wrote them already. They just not bringing them out to the public. Revelation 12 and 12. Yeah, Warren Buffett retired. He should have been retired 1,000 years ago. Look at him. Can barely walk. A whole lot happened in 2025 too. And it ain't over yet. But wait, there's more. It ain't over yet. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice. So we already know 2026. You call it 2026. It's going to be a hell of a year. It's going to be a hell of a year, man. People going to show exactly who they are. People going to start to show exactly who they are. Ain't no more hiding how people feel and what they think about you. They're going to bring it out. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. For the devil, the deceivers, the slanderers, sleaze of Esau, Edom, starting off with the elite banking families. Rothschilds, Gettys, Bloombergs, Oppenheimer, Sugar Glues, so forth and so on, man. Right? It's come down to you. It's come down unto you having great wrath because he knoweth that he had but a short time. This part of it right here. This is part of the great wrath right here. You see? Then you check them green cards. Be careful driving. Might just pull you over, never to be seen again. Let's get this. It's so quick. It's a quick. Letting our people know what time it is and what they do, because they ain't. The majority of people they ain't watching. They ain't know that this article right here exists or this video exists. They walk around in La La Land. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly. Pay attention to what's going on. Right? Walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. We're living in some perilous times. We're living in some perilous times, so dangerous, risky. I got to get that. Let's just get it right quick. About to head out, Lord, we'll get this daily bread, man. It's almost over, man. And remember, riches profit not in the day of wrath, Proverbs 11. All hell breaking loose. And guys rather chase a career than chase the Lord. All hell breaking loose. The devil come here with great wrath. All these businesses closing down. But you think running to a job, you know what I'm saying? A better job is the way. Everything's shutting down. 2 Timothy 3:1. This devil gonna make, in order for you to work, inflation sticks around, hyperinflation sticks around, right? Then gas going up, and they ready to lock it down again too. As the scripture have said, you're gonna desire to go into a city and it shall not be able to get ready to lock it down. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days, and we're living in the last days of an age of an era, perilous times shall come, dangerous, serious, uncertain. We don't know what's gonna happen from day to day. That's why you can't be doing all this planning. What I'm gonna do 4 weeks from now. What I'm gonna do a month from now. This is what I'm gonna do a month from now. Look tomorrow. Worry about tomorrow. We gotta worry about what's gonna happen today, cause it's gonna go down today. Greater evils, man. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Dangerous, uncertain, hazardous, sketchy, risky times. We're here. We're here, man. Let's just go here. Something quick. Lord willing, the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are edified, man. They coming after the tribes, man. And they've been coming. They really coming though. Let's just get this. Ephesians 16. The Lord, continue to go over these scriptures to you. Hopefully, like brothers out there, just keep bringing out the scriptures the Lord wants you to bring out. We're living in the time of prophecy. You know? Prophesied. 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning. The beginning of famine and great deaths. Sorrows, man. And great mourning. People being snatched up, never seeing their family members again. And it's only Israelites being snatched up. Nobody else. Just remember that. Make sure you remember that. Especially for you Israelite groups like this, talking about all nations can be saved. Well, all nations ain't saving you. That Stockholm syndrome is real. Somebody can put the definition of that up there, man. You see? It's all on stolen land. They're on stolen land. They don't want you to never keep bringing that up. We on stolen land. 2 Ezra 16, 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. Nero Caesar, though. You see? Dictator T. You see? And at least they got their hand in his back. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And look, they get ready to lock it down, man. They get ready to lock it down. Let's just jump down. Matter of fact, 39 right quick. Let's get this. 2 Ezra 16:39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn. This part of the plagues right here. All people being rounded up like cattle. Unrighteous decrees, war, all these things, sufferings, all that. And sorrows shall come upon it on every side. So we just here to warn you. You see it happening though. Ain't nothing certain over here. Nothing certain over here. 2 Ezra 16. And that's why we got to constantly pray. Every day. Constantly pray, man. 2 Ezra 16:70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection, a violent uprising upon those that fear the Lord. And they shall be like madmen sparing none. Sleazy gonna be like a madman. You see? Real psychotic. No love whatsoever. And they shall be like madmen sparing none, but still spoiling, meaning taking and destroying those that fear the Lord, the tribes. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They're going to do it. The Lord said they're going to do it. But you got Israelites telling them they're going to go build a community tie. I guess they didn't read this scripture right here. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And then shall be known whom I chosen, aka the elect, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So we're going to be tested. We're going to be tried. Hear, O ye my beloved, the house of David. Said the Lord power, behold, the days of trouble at hand. We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. Don't you see it? Don't you Israelites see it? These people don't love you, but you're going to stand in that line and tell them, I'm going to vote for you, I'm going to vote for you. Well, that's why they got to come back. Yeah, they got to come back. What it say here? O ye my beloved, said the Lord power, behold, the days of trouble at hand. Don't you see it? But I will deliver you from the same. The Lord said he's going to deliver us. That's our hope. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt. For the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, is your guide. You see? That's who's leading us. And the Lord said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not into thy own understanding. Let's get this and I got to close. I got to roll. Time to go. It's time to go out the door already. It's time to go. The Lord said he's going to bring misery upon the earth. Second Ezra, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you better seek the Lord. This 2 Ezra chapter 14, this is my last one, because I got that roll. It's time to go already. 2 Ezra 14 and 16, for yet greater evils, meaning bad times, than those which thou hast seen happen, shall be done hereafter. For look how much more the world shall be weakened through age, so much the more shall evils, meaning bad times, increase upon them that dwell therein. Just some breaking news. More unrighteous decrees. Keep your eyes open, Israel. The devil is on the move. Shalom.
So, again, fair use. Shalom, first and foremost, like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching this truth with sincerity. And shout out to Yakims out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Rak of the Yahweh, Rak of the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Bakatam. So, like everything else, though, yeah, a lot of people are in that mirth. They're going to celebrate so-called New Year's, right? They're going to make resolutions. And make promises that they cannot keep, because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen now. You definitely don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But you're going to go and make promises you cannot keep. Salakia, goddamn devil. You're going to go and make promises that you cannot keep. not even knowing whether you're going to be here or cast away, right? I have a reoccurring dream. And, is it about me per se? It feels that way, definitely, because this is a recurring dream. You receive a sentence, and then I'm cast away from my wife, and I'm very much miles away, and can no longer be there. I've got a very harsh sentence, and I can't get back to her. No matter what happens in that reoccurring dream, I can't get back to her. Well, is that not happening to the Israelites? Think about it, though. He is deporting, and he just said it. He says, because I was embarrassed. See, I never got the papers saying that me and my wife are married. I mean, the scriptures don't say that you have to have papers in order for it to be considered a marriage, right? So no, I don't have papers. It's so-called illegal, and I've been chastised and I've been attacked so many times that well, that's not a real marriage. That she's not really your wife. The hell she isn't, But nonetheless, though, yeah, you have to show your papers, right, in order to show proof that you are married. Common law marriage is not recognized. It definitely, they did away with that in California years ago. It doesn't matter who you marry, you have to have papers, okay? So it's been that way for a while, but now you see what's happening with these laws in place, right? And then you just got all hell breaking loose everywhere, right? I mean, storms of the century, right? Because Esau loves to exaggerate every fucking thing that there fucking is. Even though, yeah, these are winter storms. And he did cast down so-called fucking piece of shit goddamn Christmas. I'm fucking sick of that, and I'm just fucking sick of these fucking people, Hey, I know somebody who had the worst Christmas ever, but it seems to be the worst Christmas ever every year for them. So I guess the first worst Christmas ever was their best. Just listening to some of that, and that's just, just one person I know. I mean, just, the fact is, though, is that's not here anymore, all right? Fucking, a lot of shit's going on while everybody's in the house of mirth. You should be in the house of mourning, This marks 1 week, because last video I did last week, was with Allie, who was the love of my life, because, if you just knew the stories about me and Allie, as those around me kind of know, it was the end. It was the end. I didn't know that that was the day she was going to die. She was just in a lot of pain. Well, it was the day that I had to make the choice, right? Things are happening at a rapid rate. Sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen day to day. That's the whole fucking point. You don't know what's going to happen, so you don't make plans in the near future. Well, I think in a couple weeks, I think I'd like to go do this. People make travel plans all the time. Oh, they plan a Disneyland trip. They plan to do this. No, you should be in the house of mourning. You should also be preparing your house for what's about to come, right? Yeah, Hey, all this shit you take for granted, it's going to be gone very soon. Everything's going to be gone. Okay, I think that's the whole point in that reoccurring dream. Everything that you cherish is about to be gone. So cherish what you have now, but also be prepared for it, man. This devil's come down having great wrath. He may round some of you up and, tell you that you're going to take the MOTB, or we're going to kill your spouse. You're going to kill your wife. We're going to kill your children. We're going to kill them if you don't take it. Well, yeah. Are you determined that even if they did that you're still not going to take it? Think about it. He's going to do everything he can to amp it up. But we'll be kept from the hour of temptation. That's what the scriptures tell us, right? Those elect that have kept the word of the patience, right? Have continued to teach no matter what, even on days that are very bad. I still taught on the day that my dog died. I taught on the next day after my dog died, and I've been teaching every day. What's everybody else's excuse for not doing a video? And they better be good. They better be good, because am I not holding a standard? I'm not perfect. There's tons of brothers that do way more than I do, but I'm just saying, where do you toe the line? Are you toeing the line? Know where you're at, because that's the only reassurance that you have that you're going to make it through these trials, because you will be tried. Each and every one of us are going to be tried. He's going to try the elect. Of course he is. You know, we pray we're part of that hopeful elect. Because here's what's going on. High-pressure natural gas line ruptures outside Los Angeles, forcing major highway shutdown. I mean, you know, if that ain't big, I don't know what is. Gas. A rupture of high-pressure 34-inch natural gas transmission line late Saturday afternoon forced the temporary closure of Interstate 5 north of Los Angeles for several hours and led to a shelter-in-place order for thousands of residents in Castaic. You know, so there we go. You know, you see that on the map. Whole area taken out, you know. You know, it's still tempests everywhere, right? Still storms everywhere. And like everything else, though, well, the man of peace, right? You know, which is hilarious, right? Trump pours cold water on Zelensky's peace plan. You know, because Zelensky was writing his own thing. It's all bullshit and smoke and mirrors anyways. I don't think there's ever going to be peace over there. I mean, this is a time of war, you know, but they're going to speak peace and safety, right? And comes sudden destruction. Every time this man talks about peace, what happens? Sudden destruction, right? U.S. President Trump expressed skepticism about Ukrainian leader Zelensky's latest peace proposal to end the conflict with Moscow, arguing the discussions could move forward only with his blessing. Trump's remarks comes as he is expected to hold talks with Zelensky in Florida, which we already know Sunday's already happened. Earlier this week, Zelensky presented a 20-point peace plan, you know, which, like everything else, he wants more. So, like everything else, though, hey, that's the spirit, because, you know, Trump has, you know, even before he got reselected, you know, he said that we're on the verge of a nuclear war, that World War III is around the corner. Well, he's still saying it, you know, and, well, it's really going to be about the oil. See, this fight for oil and trying to steal all the reserves, lease the flock, trying to control the, you know, for the greater Israel project, is what's going to draw all these nations in. You're going to, you know, you're going to have the East versus the West. You're going to have Esau versus Esau. You're going to have Amalek versus Amalek, which are the Turks fighting them gutter rats. Well, here we go.
Hi, it's a pleasure to have you on the program, Diane. Thank you very, very much for joining us here and sharing your weekend with us here at RT International. You've just heard the discussion between me and Anastasia as Zelensky plans to meet Trump in the next 24 hours in beautiful sunshine state of Florida. There's more corruption news coming out of Kiev, but it's also coming at a time when Zelensky says, sorry, Trump, we've got no cash to stage elections. I mean, after these, how many billions of taxpayer dollars and taxpayer euros have gone to Kiev, and now we're having more corruption scandals, no money for elections. Is this a part of a trend, Diane? Help me understand it.
I don't know. I think it might be the American approach to democracy that I'm talking about, since we have very
that stupid word,
here.
right?
But I also think, you know, how can you talk about elections in Ukraine when you have 13 or so opposition parties banned? You have millions of Ukrainians outside the country. I don't know what would make any election at the moment actually verifiable. And of course, Zelensky is not actually the legitimate president, since his mandate has been exceeded now for many months.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It was May 2024 when he was de facto no longer the president, so essentially Zelensky is a Ukrainian politician. But, you know, speaking about these almost ever-erupting, ever-appearing levels of corruption, I mean, they're investigating Zelensky's closest inner circle of friends. Meantime, a man who's very familiar with all of this, Hunter Biden, Diane, he recently came out to call Ukraine a viper's den with a staggering level of corruption. It's curious timing with Hunter coming clean up.
Well, he made plenty of money off of it.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call that clean. I might call it a falling out among thieves. And, you know, I think that's sort of the way Jeffrey Epstein worked, perhaps with powerful political people in the United States. Everyone knows blackmail, so people run their various blackmail operations. Zelensky being corrupt is not a surprise or a mystery. That was known really before this special military operation even was launched. He clearly has not been interested in the well-being of his population. He's more interested in personal enrichment, and therefore willing to do the bidding, particularly of the British, and that's seconded by the various, I would say, treasonous neocon elements of the American intelligence circles, who have been wanting to use him as a pawn in their proxy designs to weaken Russia. To President Trump's credit, I think he's not so happy about that. I think he actually is concerned about a risk of nuclear war, and
There it is. Worried about a risk of nuclear war, because this is what he said. That's the whole point of it.
He's not so happy about that. I think he actually is concerned about a risk of nuclear war.
Yep. And those missiles will come flying down, especially on the day that Damascus ceases from being a city, becoming a ruinous heap. But, like everything else, though, hey, this man of peace, you know, he's killing for peace, going after Islamic State terrorists, but doing some facts check, right? Well, this clashes with what the claim is. Facts clash with Trump's claim of hitting ISIS and shielding Nigerian Christians, right? You know, because like everything else, though, that's the guys, you know, these protecting Christians, right? President Trump said the targets of strikes against Nigeria were Islamic State terrorists responsible for killing Christians, but experts question his framing. Like everything else, though, it has nothing to do with that, but it has to do with destroying infrastructure. It's always about destroying infrastructure. After the U.S. military launched airstrikes against sites in northeastern Nigeria, so these are again, well, military sites, President Trump claimed the targets were Islamic State terrorists. But analysts say the situation on the ground is far more complicated. Sokoto State, which is hit by more than 12 Tomahawk missiles on Tuesday night, is populated overwhelmingly by Muslims. Okay. So, the so-called Christians there, but primarily Muslims there, right? Analysts are divided over the existence of ties between insurgent groups in Sokoto and the Islamic State. So, in other words, these other rebel groups, if I could use the word rebel, right? You know, because that's actually an old term that Obama used during his lies of war against Syria. Is that these are Syrian rebels? Remember Syrian rebels? So basically, these are all extremist groups, but you see, like everything else, so these other groups, these are rebels, right? And they might have nothing to do with ISIS. But of course, they gotta, doctor everything, and you got to see that ISIS flag and all that, so that way you can think, oh, okay, we're going after ISIS. And it's probably the same regurgitated video over and over again, showing you ISIS and them, screaming Allah Akbar, even though their population is mostly Muslim anyways. So, what's the big fear about ISIS? Oh, that they're going to install Sharia law. Well, Muslims already follow the Sharia law anyways. So, you see, it's all falling apart, and a lot of people are calling bullshit. Kind of like, oh, well, we're going after, of course, we're going after narco-terrorists, right? Rumors of war, right? Wars and rumors of wars. And like everything else, this is just a quick video here for those that are, on BitChute and Odysee. This will keep going through, but if you're on YouTube with me, well, this is the Brothers channel. 2026, going to be a hell of a year. The MOTB is coming soon, so just getting prepared, right? I said we need to get our house prepared for even more calamities coming. And then you got this going on, right? China launches drills around Taiwan. Again, wars and rumors of wars, right? The war games simulate a blockade of major ports following U.S. approval of its largest ever package of advanced weapons to Taipei, which is the capital of Taiwan, because, again, there's always been a rumor of war that, the U.S. wants Taiwan because that's where the semiconductors are. You've been hearing about this rumor of war quite a bit through the Biden administration all the way up to Trump, And they want to go to war over that, right? The West wants those semiconductors. They want, the plants that are in Taiwan by keeping it so-called independent, even though Taiwan is a part of China, and has been. Well, they're going to go to war over this, possibly, Hey, it's a world war, so wars and rumors of war. China launched large-scale, live-fire military drills around Taiwan on Monday, deploying warships, fighter jets, and artillery in multi-day operations soon after D.C. approved its largest ever arms sale to the island. The Joint Sword 2025 war games conducted by the People's Liberation Army simulate a blockade of key ports, precision strikes on maritime targets, and scenarios to counter external interference, according to the Chinese Media and Defense Ministry. So like everything else, though, they're preparing for war. But where's the war going to be? Valley Jehoshaphat, right? And that's where the term jumping Jehoshaphat comes from. Well, where is it? That's in Syria. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Israeli army locks down several Palestinian villages in West Bank after gunfire. Oh wait, we heard gunfire. Lock it down. You know, should not be able to enter a city, right? Hey, look at the Israeli state as a model for what the U.S. is soon going to look like. Be rounding up people. Trump is talking about it. Marriage is not being recognized, right? Israeli army locked down several Palestinian villages in the West Bank on Saturday after gunfire targeting military checkpoint in the occupied territory. The sources said Israeli terrorists shut entrances to the villages of Nidon, Bilan, and Karba Baharat, west of Ramallah, preventing movement in and around the area. It followed gunfire that targeted the Israeli checkpoint in Nidon, which, you know, that remains to be seen. But, we heard gunshot, but we're going to lock it all down. Israeli terrorists and illegal settlers killed at least 1,103 Palestinians in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, injured nearly 11,000 and detained around 21,000 since 2023 October. Palestinian figures showed. So that's a huge number. So of course, it wasn't just about Gaza, it was also about ethnically cleansing their population in the West Bank and taking more territory, right? Greater Israel Project. Iran president says his country is in full-scale war with the West. And hey, at least he's measuring the time diligently, right? You know, and he's like, look, man, we're in a war. This war ain't over with. That was just a standoff. We showed that we could fight, but this war ain't over. You know, they're looking at it very, very wise. Iranian President Peshkan said that his country is in a complicated and difficult war with the U.S., Europe, and the Israeli state. So they already know that they're at war. And look, he was sworn in because they already killed, which Iran never directly said that it was Mossad, but, you know, their leader 2 years ago was killed in a helicopter crash, right? The president of Iran was killed in 2024. I say 2 years ago, but he was killed in 2024 in a helicopter crash. You know, which he came in by elections, I believe by elections, yeah. Iranian President Peshkan said Saturday, no, he was appointed by the Ayatollah, but nonetheless, though, he came in. Peshkan said in an interview published on the website of the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, on Saturday, the war is worse than Iran's deadly war with Iraq in the 1980s. Well, yeah, because, again, you know, although the U.S. was funding that war, we are in full-scale war with the U.S., Israeli state, and Europe. They don't want our country to remain stable. Yeah, they want to destabilize Iran. You know, but like everything else, trying to install coups and Mossad, well, that's failing. So the Israeli state conducted a direct attack with Donald Trump against them earlier this year. And we definitely going to see this war escalate. Peshkan said the West war against Iran is more complicated and more difficult compared to the 1980 to 1988 war with Iraq that left more than 1 million casualties on both sides. The remarks came 2 days before a planned meeting between Trump and Netanyahu. During Netanyahu's visit with the U.S., Iran is expected to be a key topic in the talks. Israeli state and U.S. strikes against Iran that came during the 12-day air war in June killed nearly 1,100 Iranians, including senior military commanders and nuclear scientists. Retaliatory missile barrages by Iran killed 28 in the Israeli state, so that's very little as compared to what happened there. But they did take out a lot of infrastructure, and there was nothing they could do. Their piece of shit Iron Dome didn't even stop it. Israeli terrorists invade Syrian village amid continued aggression. You know, so like everything else, though, you know, they're still going in and invading, right? You know, invading one another, right? You know, yeah, I know that's dealing more on this side in Babylon, but yet at the same time, though, take a look at Syria as a model, because again, World War III begins with Syria, right? Israeli occupation forces invaded the Syrian town of Taranja, advancing toward the outskirts of Jabhat al-Khashab in the northern countryside of Konitra, Syrian state media reported. Vehicles were observed on the southern edge of Jabhat al-Khashab and on the elevated terrain overlooking the town. The incursion coincided with the presence of an unarmed aerial vehicle flying, aka a drone. The force later moved to the village of Yefrena in the northern countryside of the province, agency said. So, like everything else, though, the Israeli terrorists continued to invade Syria. And got another video here, because what is Revelation chapter 19, verse 12? I'm all over the place, and for those on YouTube, obviously, the elder brother Kazakh, I believe that's his name. Yeah. Elder Brother Kazakh, and this is his channel. Yahushua is coming back. He's had this channel for quite some time. So, hey, I recommend watching this, and everybody else on Odysee, BitChute, and Rumble. Here's the video. And just a few more here before I close this out, right? Al-Jalani, Netanyahu meeting imminent for Syria-Israeli security deal. Tel Aviv insists it will not withdraw from the nearly occupied Syrian territory as part of security deal with Damascus. So they're just going to keep it. I mean, they took it. They're going to keep it. We're keeping the oil. Remember, because Babylon the Great also is keeping the oil. So Syria's reconstruction, as you can tell, is never going to happen as long as the U.S. is occupying the oil. Which this is what's going to cause the clash between Gomer and all his troops. It's going to be over this oil that's in that northern region, because that's vital to Syria's existence. Agreement is expected to be signed by the two sides at a high-level Syrian-Israeli summit in an undisclosed European country. Syrian source did not rule out the possibility that al-Jalani, the founder of Al-Qaeda and Syrian former ISIS leader, former ISIS leader, could sign the agreement directly with Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister. Israeli state covertly supported al-Jalani and his armed group, the al-Nusra Front, in an effort to topple President Bashar al-Assad, and it goes back to 2011. Netanyahu immediately took credit after al-Jalani toppled Bashar al-Assad and took power in Damascus in December 2024. They have an agreement over this. But Gomer and all its troops, well, they kind of, this is where they're clashing with the whole agreement. The Israeli state does not keep to any agreement, right? So, like everything else, though, there's more of this from Vanessa Beeley. And, and I learned about this guy's channel from Elder Brother Malcolm, the last American vagabond, which, interesting, Esau is a vagabond. But this guy does some pretty good inside work, so, a little bit more about this secret deals, Obviously, al-Jalani, the leader of ISIS, right? Muhammad al-Jalani, and there was a $10 million reward, but it's okay because they're not ISIS anymore. Well, then what are they? Because the last time I checked, Al-Qaeda and ISIS are the same thing, but, you got to put him in a suit, and he's got to look good, and, the recent strike against ISIS in Syria has nothing to do with the new Syrian government. But ISIS is still operating. See, lies from the tablecloth as another. And what's interesting is that group that does that song just so happens that the lead singer happens to be Syrian. If you look up System of a Down, their lead singer happens to be from Syria, and there was a song that came out, called Bring Your Own Bomb, BYOB, and it just totally goes in it, right? You depend on our protection, yet you feed us lies from the tablecloth. Everybody's going to the party, having a really good time. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine, just pretty much just lying to you time after time. Oh, it's about protecting Syria. We're protecting Syria from a brutal dictator. We're protecting Iraq from a brutal dictator, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Bashar al-Assad is gassing his own people, right? Just totally about the gaslighting. Lies from the tablecloth. Well, hey, The narrative has been falling apart for quite some time. Why? Because Esau has been discovered, right? Esau's foreskin has been uncovered, as this goes into, right? You know, so we'll just kind of end it on here, you know. Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 7, you know, because this is Esau as a whole, and especially Babylon the Great, right? Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is there no longer any wisdom in Teman? Has good counsel vanished from the intelligent and prudent? Has their wisdom decayed, meaning that nobody believes them anymore? You know? But like everything else, though, we're in the time that the Most High is about to punish Esau once and for all. Flee, turn back, dwell in the depths of the desert to escape the judgment of Edom. O inhabitants of Dedan. I said demon. Yeah, Esau is a demon, right? For I will bring the destruction of Esau upon him when I inspect and punish him. So Esau's about to be punished. I have stripped Esau bare. I have uncovered his hiding places, and he cannot hide himself. His descendants have been destroyed along with his brothers and his neighbors, and he is no more. So like everything else, though, first, he's being found out. He's being found out to be the liar, the thief that he is, the murderer. And guess what? The Most High is going to hunt down and kill every fucking last one of you. We'll round up some of you. But for the rest, you know, after your sentence, after the 1,000 years are up, you're going to be slayed, every fucking last one of you, and we can't fucking wait for that. We're looking forward to being part of the first fruits that get to see this. You see? Like everything else, though. I want to wake up to everlasting life, not everlasting contempt. Everlasting contempt means that I'll be shamed forever. Forever in the kingdom. I don't want to be shamed forever. I want to be known as those that, you know, tried to warn the people that, look, the Most High is coming back for his elect. And I pray I'm part of that hopeful elect. So hopefully this has all been edifying. And then I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Wa Abba Babal. Barak Thumb, the hopeful elect. If you want to watch the longer length video of this, you can find me on Odysee, BitChute, and Rumble. Shalom.